Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about how the fuck I got to college. I have a bunch of stuff written down that I'm probably just going to read off of because honestly, I don't know how I got into college. I wanted to make a video for people who are applying to schools and getting ready for admissions and shit. Especially offer help for people who are in the foster care system like me.
Brother,
Alright. To start off at the beginning, I put together a whole draft and stuff of ideas for essays because I hate essays with a burning passion, and I'm like, well, if I'm gonna write one about myself, I have a lot to say about myself because I'm totally not narcissistic. Yes, I am. But I wrote down a bunch of ideas, and then I basically just wrote a whole ass. Honestly, they should send me the bill for their therapy after reading my essay. It was pretty intense. I decided to focus on one topic, and that was identity, because identity is really important to me as a queer individual. Plus, I am a foster kid. I'm in the system. Also dealing with mental health issues and being very open about it. Because we're kind of now in the generation era where it's being normalized to talk about it, but we can't just expect it to be normalized. We have to keep normalizing it. Anyways, I wrote my essay. I shaped it out. I think I had 500 words exactly. With that, I basically just put it on my Common App, which is what I use to apply. You basically add it to your main essay, and there might be other writing prompts for individual applications, separate ones that you could do. And I filled those out as necessary. There was one about COVID and my experience with COVID. I was in the 7th grade, my second half of seventh grade when COVID happened. So I actually did skip my junior year, or it technically was a month long if you look on my high school transcript, because I graduated a year early, so I only had 3 years of high school. The required credits was 26, and I got that by the end because I took extra classes. I swear, I'm not actually that smart. Alright. So for foster kids specifically, applying for scholarships, there's a lot of ones that the state will offer. Like the Mass Grant, there's the Pell Grant, there's different scholarships that schools will give you based on your eligibility or your financial situation and shit. Most foster kids, I believe, I just know this from Massachusetts since I live in Massachusetts, but foster kids usually get a full ride if it's a state school, in-state school, so all Massachusetts, UMass Lowell, UMass Amherst, UMass Boston, UMass Dartmouth, all those schools, Framingham State, Fitchburg State, all of those would be paid for by the state of Massachusetts for foster kids who have
10 people died in the Bronx last night due to a fire that killed 10 people in the Bronx last night during a fire.
Fire officials say all 10 people died due to the fire, which was too hot for their bodies.
And need that financial assistance. You're going to a private school, which sounds like more than it is, but it's usually schools that are not state schools, and they kind of, so they don't get funded as much by the state, so they have to, you got to pay more money. For private schools, even if they're not that expensive, you still want to be looking for the scholarships and staying on top of it. I'm going to a private school because I just decided to be so extra about it that I wanted to be in debt. I'm not actually going to be in debt that much because of all the scholarships I applied for. My first semester bill is about $640 for a whole semester for a school that's about $60,000 a year, which is freaking crazy. I also applied for early application, which is, early application, early decision, and then there's regular decision, regular application. The regular applications usually should... People that submit early application have more chances for scholarships and merit aid, and their applications are reviewed before the people that submit it later, and it's just better to submit it earlier because you have more opportunities then financially and like everything. Early decision is kind of, you're locked in. So if you get into that school and you apply to early decision, you're locked in. If you're very confident about the school you want to go to and you know you want to go there, you can do that. But I don't recommend applying early decision because you're like, oh, but I got more financially from this school. I applied early decision, so now it's not this school. I got to pay more. Just saying, it's not just saying. Since I submitted early application, I submitted those around November 1st. And so I had my essay in, I had my Common App in, I had applied for some scholarships, sent all those out. And then they started coming back to me early December all the way until March. So there was like a big window of time I got things back. My first one I got back was Pace University in New York, and honestly one of my top schools, but just because of the distance and like the location and the funding wouldn't go out of state for me. Plus I'd be a minor going into college because I'm still 17 and I graduated early, so I have that whole period of time where I'm not gonna be a legal adult in college. So I didn't like fully decide until I got every single application back, and I reviewed the financial aid, and I reviewed whether I made the big decision whether I wanted to go to private or public. I decided to go to private. There's a enrollment fee that you have to pay by a certain amount of time, and I applied for that through DCF to get the funding. I submitted my enrollment fee, and I decided to go to Suffolk University. So there is a lot of applications have fees, unless like sometimes you can apply on their website and they won't have a fee for the college application, but most of them do have like, it's anywhere from $75 to $200 to just submit your application, which is really annoying. People not getting in and having to submit like $200 fees for their application is really, really dumb. It's really dumb. But if you want to, you can submit an application fee waiver. There are certain eligibility rules, and so if you submit one, it's not guaranteed that you're going to get a fee waiver. It's really super concerning for people that are applying to more than like 5 schools, because then it starts to rack up. You're like, oh my god, wait, that's like $1,000 just for submitting my applications. This is crazy. But you can apply for an application fee waiver, which will hopefully help you out. That's what I did, and I didn't have to pay for any of the applications I submitted, and I submitted 13, so I really could not have paid any of that. I would have been more broke than I already am. All right, I gotta check my list for this shit. Okay, then there's the FAFSA. I don't even know what FAFSA stands for. I always call it the FAFSA. FAFSA meaning it's the free application for federal student aid. Basically, you apply for the FAFSA and then they give you a student aid index estimate. I got a negative 1,500, which is the lowest you can get, because it was really sad, but also really funny. The lower the number you get, the more chances you're going to get financial aid from the state. They'll give you that state money if you're extra broke. But there's certain things you gotta fill out on that, and it's usually easier to do with a legal guardian, whether that's a DCF worker if you're in the system, a parent, a sibling that's already in college, or maybe a sibling that's not in college and it's just really smarter than you.
Please welcome Sheldon Cooper.
But filling out the FAFSA is a little bit complicated, and if you have a guidance counselor, you want to meet with them regularly to help you stay on track of that. You want to be on track of your classes. There's a lot of things that you don't get email notifications for that you want to make sure you're checking every single application. You're checking it constantly, because if you don't, you might miss out on something that's important, and you want to stay on top of it. I'm not saying don't enjoy your last year of high school before you go into college, but you do want to be on top of making sure you're on top of it, because you're always on top. You gotta stay on top all the time. But that's the application process. And I swear to God, it's not as complicated as it sounds. I literally did it by myself. And half the time I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So if I can do it, it's pretty simple. It's way less complicated. So first, you want to make sure you have your essay. Then you want to make sure you have all your application, like fees, either waived if you needed it or paid. You want to make sure you know which ones you're applying to. You're applying to them based on what you want to go for. If you don't want to know what you want to go for and you're undecided, you can go to a school that offers a lot of different majors and programs and stuff that you're interested in. You want to go for stuff you're interested in, because if you're stuck in a school that you're paying for a while and you're not interested, you're not going to do well and you're not going to apply yourself as more. Why am I saying this like I've already been to college? I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Who the fuck do I think I am, Morgan Freeman? But that's pretty much the application process. And it gets a little bit more complicated based on where you're living and if you're going to be in housing, which is going to be my next video on housing and moving in. It's going to be more vlog type style because I'm not the best with the talking videos and I'm literally filming right next to a fucking lake. So, ka-chow.
And honestly, it was really tiring, the work I put in. And I'm not saying every single student has to be super awesome if they, not saying I'm super awesome, but saying that they can be super awesome on their application, because honestly that's stupid. The main idea is you want the college that you're applying to be like, you should let me come here because this is what I'm passionate about.